Alright, 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 alright. So, how are we doing? Let's remove you and put you over here. Much better. Is that how we want it? No, that's a bit too much. That way. Now we want you a bit more this way. We do this shit live on stream. Yeah, I am really late today. I've had a horrible day. It's been a really busy day. But not a lot has been going on the interwebs, has it? I think my takeaway order of some Philly cheesesteaks is actually coming from yeah, Ghosty. Yeah, I am late. We've just had a lot of releases at work this week, and I've been called upon basically managing 3 different projects, and it's taking its toll on me. It's a lot of work. But hey, we did make it online at least. I didn't just pass out and wait for someone to wake me up at 7 AM the next morning. They thankfully came and woke me up at 7:15 in the evening. Though it does seem like there's a lot of commotion going about a particular handheld online, isn't there? My God, is the handheld debate going crazy at the moment. D-Batch is in full swing. I don't even understand why. It's the Turkish Matthew McConaughey. One of these days, Bruno. One of these days. Of course I know why bags. They just can't accept the fact that it's an Xbox. When they accept it's an Xbox, then everyone will be happy. It's an Xbox, right? I don't see what the problem is. People losing their mind for no reason. Like, why? Why are these people just like going crazy? The Xbox Rug LIX. It is a mouthful. I'll give it that. Yo, what up, hun? Yeah. Ah, my wallet is crying already. It's already sending me telegrams. Oh no? Yeah. Okay, my wallet isn't crying, and the telegram has been cancelled. No, that's what I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave Ram to do the dishes. It's his birthday. All right. Yeah, Saturday we're going out for my son's birthday, and so I'm planning on going there, having a massive meal with all the family. Then we're all just gonna tell him to sit at the table, wait, and we're gonna go and bring his gift, and we're just gonna go home, leave him there, let him do the dishes. He can pay it off that way. Sounds like a great idea to me. He'll be sitting there going, is anyone coming back? Jonas, I think the ROG Xbox Ally is the blueprint for the next console. The next console will be backwards compatible, but the ROG is basically a blueprint for what the next Xbox is going to be. Bullets, you dropped the Xbox Ally X already? Oh, a shame, dude. It's only 200 more? No, it's going to be more than 200 more. Wait, no. What am I talking about? It's going to be cheaper. It's going to be cheaper. I think they're going to aim for a lower price point than, in the US at least, than $1,000. No, we haven't got to that yet, Smiley. We're going to get to it in a bit. Just catching my bearings and saying hello to everyone, and I'm just semi-getting everything into order, but that's going to be the first topic we talk about. But how are you, my dude? Because apparently people have gone crazy and have decided that in this day and age they're going to make up more fake drama. And yeah, it's a little weird, and I thought I saved it, but maybe I didn't. Let me just grab the source. The source! Let me grab the source. You know what? I feel like the music's a little loud. Alright, so if we go like this, and we go bada boom, apparently the next gen Xbox console price has leaked. And it's really expensive, folks. Considering it isn't even made yet, and we assume that the parts have been finalized, how these people even know what the price is going to be until the very last minute is crazy. But fucking ads, go away. The next gen Xbox console price has reportedly been leaked online. This could potentially be a year or two away, by the way, with all the changes that they're doing to the device, but apparently it has. It's going to cost over $1,000 according to a new leak, and that came from the one, the only, the one that can never defy anything, the one that always spreads BS news. Hey, what are you doing? No, I don't want to. Moore's Law is dead. According to Moore's Law is dead, it is going to be a hefty price tag. And so he went and found a laptop of equivalent specs and said, if this laptop is this price, it's going to cost even more to make this. And I'm like, I don't know if you guys saw my video yesterday that I released in the, well, today that I released in the early hours of the morning today. But look, I'm going to be real with you, right? If you're going to compare a device that is mobile, has a built-in screen, has its own battery source, and can go with you wherever you want to go and still work, to a device that requires a power battery generator strapped onto your back like you're the Ghostbusters, right? With a 32-inch TV strapped onto your chest with a cradle as if it's something from Aliens, then yeah, I can see the new Xbox being way more expensive if you plan on handling it with a generator and a TV and everything else while on the go. I mean, you have to be an absolute imbecile, a complete moron, a complete Rakanishou to even do that sort of a comparison. And then you've got this website, Vice, whatever it is, who clearly is dumber than Moore's Law is dead, coming out with this stupid article. Like, I mean, I get it, right? Moore's Law is dead actually hates Xbox. He does. He's openly made that clear. He despises Xbox. He wishes Xbox was dead. He hates Microsoft. He hates everything to do with it. There's not a thing about Microsoft that he likes. But come on. How can you make yourself look this dumb? I mean, I already had not much hope for this guy in terms of intelligence, but you're going to compare it to a laptop that has a built-in screen and its own power source, and then turn around and say, look, this device costs this much money, so it's going to cost you more, when it doesn't have a built-in screen or its own power source or anything else. I mean, there's a reason why the handheld PCs are so expensive. They're small, they're compact, they've got a built-in screen, they're good to go on the go. I mean, this guy is a complete moron. I mean, we saw a guy who built the original Xbox, the OG. He actually turned that into a handheld. The battery's power that he had on it, running the games natively, lasted 13 minutes, I think it was, and 42 seconds. But at least you could play for 13 minutes and 42 seconds, right? But come on, man, this is dumb. The next Xbox is going to be sub 1,000, right? In the US. I can't imagine it being more than that. I mean, there will be models that are more though, because they're going to be OEM versions. But the Microsoft version will be subsidized. The OEM versions won't be subsidized. But hey, I'm curious to see what it's going to be here in the UK. Nah, it's going to be less than that. Devin, thank you for the super sticker, my dude. I appreciate it. Oh. It's just so stupid. Why would you compare a laptop to the next gen Xbox? And he's saying it's going to be more expensive because there are similar specs in a laptop, and it's already over £1,000. It's £1,000 basically. It's $1,000. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Nah, they will. They will. They subsidize the handheld already. So you're 100% wrong on that, Steve. The handheld pricing was supposed to come out in the UK at a higher price, and they managed to wrangle it down to the original $799 price. So they did subsidize it. I mean, it could very well be Banisher. $799. Heinz ketchup, Steve. Yeah, he's wrong on this one. I can tell you that for a fact. Heinz and HP told me. He is 100% wrong. Smiley, at that price, it'll depend on the specs and what I can get on PC. If it's £1,500, then I'm gonna need to see what the price is for PC is. If I can get a better PC rig at that price, then I'll go PC. All we know is that it's gonna. This is due to how much more Magnus will cost. It's just they're just calling it Magnus. I can't remember the specs, but they have leaked. So let me see. Xbox Magnus specs. I don't want a video. I just want. All right, here we go. Go away, you. Magnus. TLDR, leaks reveal Microsoft's next-gen Xbox powered by the custom AMD Magnus APU features 68 RDNA 5 GPU CUs, up to 48 gigabytes of GDDR7 memory on a 192-bit bus, and a powerful NPU. With dual performance modes targeted for a 2027 launch, which we already know about. It aims to outperform the PlayStation 6 in hardware specs. It has at least 24 megabytes of L2 cache for the GPU, up to 3 times Zen 6 plus 8 Zen 6C with 12 megabyte L3 caches, 192-bit memory bus with up to 48 gigabytes of GDDR7. That's better. NPU of up to 110 teraflops. We're going back to that again. At 6 watts or 46 tops at 1.2 watt to power consumption modes, targeting Twitter launch. So that's basically the current leaked specs. Yeah, the consoles can't really enter the PC territory for pricing. If they enter the PC territory for pricing, then... Wait, why is it white on stream but blue on my screen? That is so weird. Must be... That is weird. Oh, you're not seeing the screen. That explains it away. Yeah, the moment they start entering the PC gaming pricing, the consoles lose all value. The whole gotcha for a console, outside of its simplicity, was its price. If they lose the price differentiator, they lose the reason to have one. For the average person, none of this means nothing. Just that it's going to be powerful. And subsidized. But we do know that there is at least 1 or 2 more consoles coming from Microsoft, at least based on what they said. So we'll see how that develops, really. But the pricing of $1,000, that's just silly. Especially when the thing hasn't even been finalized yet. These leaked prices are so dumb. It is so dumb. It's beyond stupid. Terminator 2D No Fate. That game is not going to do well, so Steve is definitely going to buy it. He likes supporting the underdogs. In it, Steve. Vinci, at that point, you could probably sell your Series X and use the next console to do both. And as long as it has a disk drive for your disc-based games, then I could see there being value depending on how much it costs. If it's, let's say, for example, it releases at $1,000, right? And then you manage to sell your Series X for $200, $300, whatever. And then, you know, you've already subsidized that cost by $300, so now it's really costing you $700. Then it's great value. But if it's going to cost you, like, say, $1,500, $1,800, then it defeats the purpose. You might as well build a cheaper PC if you really want to go down that route and keep your Series X. So it's all dependent on price, and I think that, Ghosty, they're these things that you use as frisbees. They're these round discs. You fling them, and usually dogs jump up and bite them and bring them back to you. It's usually why they've got a lot of scratches underneath it. People never knew why those scratches were there, but I'm telling you, there's method to this story. There's truth to it. They're chew toys for little puppies. Don't worry, if you're not a tech guy, you can be a please now have a crystal ball. I know it all. I mean, this information that there's a new, the pricing has leaked is probably the dumbest thing I've seen in a while. Did you guys see the new trailer clip that came out from Microsoft, from Led Halbert or whatever that guy's name is? I think that was really, I mean, I understand what they were saying, but they literally skirted the line when it came to legal responsibility. That was crazy. Oh, apparently Final Fantasy 16 runs really well on the Xbox ROG handheld. That is nice. But where is that advert that I actually saw? That one was that was skirting what is acceptable, man. Yeah, here it is. Let me play it for you guys. Oh, apparently there was double audio going. Not anymore. All right.
This morning, a new handheld gaming device from Microsoft. Actually,
now this is from Good Morning America, right? And I don't know how much of this script is given to them by Microsoft, or just if Good Morning America really just has deluded and stupid people working there that have no idea what the hell they're talking about. It could be one or the other. Hey, be nice. Apparently, the Moore's Law is dead is comparing it to laptop prices. Amma Farouk, like I said, I don't think anything has been finalized yet. They're still ways out. They're still building the bloody thing. How can they actually price something when it's still being built? but Moore's Law is dead. His hatred for Xbox shines bright and through. It is there for everyone to see. But anyway, I don't know if any of you watch Good Morning America. I don't. I'm not in America. But, man, either these guys got, really badly informed, or they really need to stop covering tech news. No, Brick, this is bad. Like, this is skirting on bad information, right? Hey, look, brothers, I wanted one day one. I missed it. They put the thing out at 1 a.m. By the time I came, it's still sold out in the UK, by the way. Curry's hasn't got everything in stock anymore. Not even a pre-order. They're done. I can only get it from Asus, which I've pre-ordered. That's where I originally pre-ordered from. And their earliest that they can get it to me is December. But let's listen
This
to
morning,
this.
a new handheld gaming device from Microsoft. Actually, two. The Xbox Ally and the Ally X.
Ooh, it feels like a controller that's gone whoop and gotten a little wider, but it has the same feel. You know, your thumbs are in the same place, your trigger fingers are in the same place.
Developed with hardware maker Asus, the devices have a 7-inch screen and run Windows 11, meaning that in addition...
I still think they should have had an 8-inch screen. Look, I'm telling you, bigger is better. And that's what she said.
To playing Xbox console games on it, you can play any PC or streamable game.
This is Microsoft built.
Did you hear what she said there? Listen to what she said.
11, meaning that in addition to playing Xbox console games on it, you can play any PC or streamable game.
This
In addition to being able to play any Xbox console games. I mean, Tarnished, you're not wrong. Now, how do you guys take that bit? In addition to being able to play Xbox console games. Now, I know exactly what she meant. At least I'm hoping that's what they meant. I don't think they're that smart. I think they got it wrong. But I think they meant through cloud and remote play. But that really needs to be clarified. I know they didn't use the word native, and they are lucky, but at the same time, they didn't use native for PC games either. So now I'm using an 8-inch screen at the moment. The difference is welcome. 7 is fine. I think 8 is the sweet spot. You know what I tried to do, brothers? So I've got this tablet here, right? I don't know if you can see it. So I tried to find, this is a Samsung 7 FE. So I tried to find one of those backbones or whatever, a Razer Kishi, that's long enough to strap around for 12, because this is 12.4 inches. One that would basically stretch around 12.4. Unfortunately, they don't really make them. But I did want to try it out just to see for fun how it actually would play. Da, 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 da. Yeah, I know at some point it starts to look silly. Strap it onto your TV and walk away. But I still wanted to give it a try. But I couldn't find it. Nothing for a reasonable price anyway. But yeah, I'm hoping she's smart enough to know that it's not native and they are referring to cloud and remote play. But I do think that should have been specified.
is Microsoft Building 87.
In an exclusive peelback of the development process,
This is the 3D printing lab.
Ooh.
Xbox President Sarah Bond shows me their labs.
This is where the team is actually designing, prototyping, and testing for the next generation of Xbox.
Oh, so this is the top secret
It is
room.
top secret.
From 3D printing
There you go. There's your first look at the next generation Xbox. Right there. Your first look at the next generation Xbox is right there. And it needs to be green. I mean, you can see a bit of green around it anyway with the glow, but yeah, this could very well be the first, you know, a prototype for the casing of the next Xbox. It does, right? That's what I thought. Hey, Alpha One. How's it going, my dude? Long time no see. Welcome back. Once rolling screens come more mainstream, we can have like a 32-inch handheld. I wonder what they're gonna name it. We've heard Xbox Magnus, we've heard Xbox Prime. They're gonna come out with some weird and awful name. I just know it. And everyone's gonna be like, why? Why would you do that? And then they're gonna be like, ah, I see. And then everyone's gonna be okay with it. Rog made the LI. Why is Sarah showing someone around the Rog building? That's the Xbox building. That's internal Xbox headquarters. Xbox Infinity. Xbox Hybrid. Hey, Diablo. I mean, they could have gone back to the Xbox 360, but they decided to call it Game Pass 360 instead. That's what they should have changed Ultimate to. Game Pass 360. That would have been... Can you imagine the outcry if they actually went that far? The master. Xbox one. Sarah could have shown the literal next Xbox, and we know that certain people would say it's fake. Paris, I know, man. I know. But what if this is part of, you know, the next Xbox? It's interesting. I'm looking forward to what the next Xbox looks like. At the very least, I hope it's got a cool design that doesn't give a red ring of death. I think they learned from that one. That was a harsh lesson. I remember your interview with Peter Moore, Paris. I think it was you that I was watching. And yeah, that was a dark moment for Peter when he was talking about the red ring of death and how they just wanted to get rid of it. It was a good interview, though. By the way, I really enjoyed it. It was really well done. Send you a clip on Discord showing Sarah very clear with. Yeah, I'll check that out after this.
To the machine shop.
So we very, very rarely take people in here.
This is the Xbox Lab.
Here, the company envisions all the ways and places we game.
This is manageable.
You can actually have your full high-fidelity gaming library and have it in your hands and take it anywhere with you.
Because if you're console gaming at home and have to go,
It actually knows where you were in the game. You can go jump right back in.
Don't
and you
tell
can
that to
start
Steve
right where
off.
you left
Wow,
off.
it
Super
syncs
easy.
progress.
It syncs progress.
Look, I just think that what they should have done with the Xbox LIX is put a 5090 in there and set it on its way. I know it would look weird with you holding the graphics card along with the shell, but still, I think it would have done it great wonders.
Uh-oh.
Oh no! You guessed it!
Carl Ledbetter from the design team walks me through the new features.
It has a high quality display and both devices share the same display. It gives you rich color and a fast refresh rate.
More than 3 billion people game worldwide, with Microsoft clocking more than 500 million active monthly users. But the rise in mobile gaming has been a bit of a phenomenon. Nintendo launched its second generation handheld this summer, the Nintendo Switch 2.
I think Nintendo kind of owns the market and everybody knows it, but Microsoft has the real opportunity to grow the market.
The success of the Nintendo Switch.
And that's what it's all about, growing the market, making waves, changing the game. Yep, someone is going to clip this. It's indeed a car to run a 59 or 20. Total, it doesn't matter. It's not an Xbox Series handheld. It's an Xbox handheld. They're two different devices. The PlayStation Portable doesn't run PS2 games, does it? No, it's a different device. Just like this one. It's a different device. People just can't get that notion into their head. It is a different Xbox device. It's not a Series handheld. It was never designed to be a Series handheld. That was Project Cannon that got shelved. And as soon as, I don't understand why people can't get that concept. There are multiple Xbox devices. This is just one of the devices within the family. It was never marketed to be a Series handheld device. Would it have been nice to play Series games? Sure. But it was never marketed for that. But you can still play those games through the cloud or remote play. Bro, just touch everything to a belt. Hey, Gorsty, if I got a few hamsters, how many more minutes would I get on that 20? Hey, E-Rex, how's it going? It is an Xbox. It's just not an Xbox console. I don't know why people don't get this. There are multiple reasons why they don't get that.
Which I think surprised a lot of people and probably put some pressure on Microsoft to answer. How is this the answer?
Actually, it's very different. Because it's powered by Windows, you can get all of your games, and you can actually pull games from other stores. And so it's one place that brings together an aggregated library, and that's just something that's not available anywhere else.
There are two versions of the device for more casual gamers like Minecrafters, the Xbox Ally.
Yeah. Do you have an actual link to that? Because it's only just a video, Kabini. And I'm not sure if I can play this.
Game.
I don't want to fully expose my Discord, but I will try it this way. Let's see if we can do it. No, we can't do it this way. So
Games.
let's see if we can do it this way.
Games.
Okay, we can do it this way. All right, let's see what Sarah has to say.
Games you've played on Xbox. If it's a PC native game, you're gonna be able to play it right there. If it's a console-only game, you're gonna be able to stream it from the cloud. If you're down in your basement and you want to stream direct from your console that you've got upstairs, you're gonna be able to do it.
I'm able to.
Okay, that's all that needs to be said. It's an Xbox. Kabini, that's literally sums it up perfectly. She spelt it in black and white. Anyone that doesn't understand after that is dumb. Ghosty, was that the lawnmower that I helped you out with the other night? Ah, okay. Yeah, we totally got that via legit means, right? Totally. I just don't get it, man. But yeah, Good Morning America decided that they're going to come out and make that and I think they whoo, they should have added some caveats. So what do you think about this? I mean, the PS5 Pro's legit, it exists, so at least you're. Why does it matter if it's called an Xbox? Never in my life have I ever seen so many feeling threatened over video games or by a console. Sappho, it's just insecure. It's just insecure people. You've got a bunch of insecure men who feel like their manlyhood is going to be affected or challenged because something is called something, and that's it. They feel like they won't be, able to function in life because something is called an Xbox. It bothers them that much. And that's why you've got the whole media today running Spider-Man on there, because they know it triggers them that a device called an Xbox is playing Spider-Man. And it pisses them off beyond all recognition. They will come and cry that it's not an Xbox and all this, just trying to console themselves and make themselves feel better and make themselves feel good. But all they're doing is lying to themselves. What do you mean they spelled October wrong? What do you mean, Steve? You don't even have to scroll. Just look at the name. What's wrong with discussing fish? I mean, Kabini. You can. And you will. And it will be day and date. What do you mean muted? Man, Steve, you ruined the whole gag. There are so many people here that would have probably believed this as well. It's obviously a joke. But I tried to play it off, but you ruined the gag. There would have been people in here that would have believed it as well. Bad, Steve, man. Oh, I didn't believe it at all. But what a shame. What a shame. I even kind of indicated, stop, it's a gag. But no. Mate, you've got a job opposite a Manchester police station. Don't tell me you're smart. A scouter working opposite Manchester Police. Come on. Way to go, Steve. I mean, you never had this much controversy over the PS Portal, right? The number of people that bought a PS Portal thinking it would play native games because it was going to be like a Vita 2 or something. And loads bought it for that reason and then returned it. You never saw the media or anyone complaining about that. But look, all I can say is they're clearly threatened by this. It clearly triggers them. And for everyone still calling it an Xbox because it is an Xbox, keep calling it an Xbox. It's only going to feed the algorithm so they'll see it more and get triggered more. I did like what Tom said here, though.
Okay, I know everyone is talking about whether this is an Xbox or a PC or whatever we want to really call it. But I just kind of wanted to talk about the Xbox Ally X and the kind of thing that I really love about it.
You see? You see? Steve, you see? Right there. Right there. I stand vindicated. It would have worked. It would have worked. William, it's a joke. It's a fake post. It was just for engagement farming by discussing fish.
Which is just how versatile and open this is. So regardless of the Windows bugs and the Xbox new interface and whether it's a PC or console-like experience, whatever you want to argue about with it, I do like that I can one moment be, for example, playing Spider-Man 2, which is a PlayStation game that I'm playing through Steam, and then I can be playing Silksong locally on.
That is insane. They got Quick Resume working. I know people were complaining that it doesn't have it, and people were mocking it because it didn't have it. I know Steve showed videos from Linus Tech Tips back then that did have it. It was a bit iffy, but that just proved it right there that it ran perfectly. Heatwave, that was my exact point. Moore's Law is Dead is trying to compare it to a laptop, and that's where they use it. But yeah, that was insane, right? The way he was able to just switch between the games. That's really cool on a handheld
experience,
device.
Whatever you want to argue about with it. I do like that I can one moment be, for example, playing Spider-Man 2, which is a PlayStation game that I'm playing through Steam, and then I can be playing Silksong locally on the device, and then I can go back home and just jump back into any old game from Xbox over the cloud, and I can pick Xbox Cloud Gaming or GeForce Now. It's just the versatility.
You hear that? GeForce Now. Music to my ears. Heatwave, I will be once it's back in stock in the UK. It's just sold out everywhere here. The normal white version is available, but the X variant is out of stock everywhere. Currys and Asus have it out of stock. And those are really the only two places I want to pick it up from.
And kind of like the openness of this device,
Out
and
of
just
stock till
how
the end of the year.
much Microsoft's kind of embracing that. I think it's kind of, if this is the blueprint for whatever they're doing with the next gen Xbox consoles, then I'm kind of excited that the fact that they're willing to be this open and just embrace multiple stores and just multiple ways to get games, really. So obviously on the home screen here, I've got the cloud game here. I've got a locally installed Game Pass, so Silksong, and then I've obviously got Spider-Man 2 here and Black Myth Wukong as well from Steam. And
it's pretty cool though, the way that it was completely just jumping between the games. It was great. I like that. I did not talk about it. He mentioned it. Listen, I've even got it pinpoint. I watched this so many times, I even know exactly where it says it, just so I can hear it.
Xbox Cloud Gaming or GeForce Now. It's just the versatility and kind of like the openness of this device, and just how or GeForce Now. Xbox Cloud Gaming or GeForce Now. Cloud Gaming or GeForce Now. Cloud Gaming or GeForce Now.
See? It's not me. I'm going to make that into a soundboard, so I don't say it anymore. I'm just going to have Tom Warren say it. Infinite, I'm doing all right, man. I'm a bit tired. It's been a very long week at work. I just want this week to end and chill for the weekend. Going to a massive buffet on Saturday for my son's birthday, so that's going to be amazing. Eat all you can. And yeah, I'm going to come back on Saturday, comatose, and probably pass out for the rest of that day. But hopefully it'll be good. It's going to upscale to whatever your TV resolution is. As for the FPS, I don't have one, so I can't tell you. I'm not a GeForce shill. He's the one saying it, not me. Listen.
Or GeForce Now.
See? Not me. It's not like I can look at the seconds and do this. It's just etched into memory. I can just do that, and I know he's going to say it.
Now.
See? But yeah, when I get I mean, I'm sure other people are going to do it way before me because I just don't have one yet. But yeah, we shall see. But I know people have already hooked it up to their TVs. They're doing that with their ROG Ally, original ROG Ally anyway, and using it as a gaming PC, and it works just fine. They're getting 60 FPS in games like Forza Horizon 5 and stuff like that. So it's obviously game dependent and whatnot, but it is what it is. Is it more powerful than the Switch 2? It is more powerful than the Switch 2. It can push frames better. And honestly, once you slap lossless scaling onto it, it's going to give you really good frames. You're coming with me. Well, if you're around Bexley Heath, brothers, feel free. What do you think of this? I am going to play Chronos, dude. It's on my to-do list. I was planning on playing it during Halloween. Apparently, you can't complete it in one sitting, and that's unfortunate. Or I might be playing Little Nightmares. I heard that one's doable in one sitting. Little Nightmares 3. I really liked the first two games. They were really, really good. The third one should be, I'm hoping, is going to be really good. But I'm undecided between those two. So who's looking forward to this collaboration? The Street Burgers. It's crazy how they always go back to the Street Fighter 2 animation as well. Why don't they use the Street Fighter 5 animations? Kabini, the difference between those two is that the one on the left is probably running near 60 FPS. The one on the right is running at 30 FPS. I'll take 60 FPS all day. And it could have been the white ally as well, right? The base ally, which is thing. I assume this is in Japan only. I don't think anyone... I mean, it'd be cool if this came to the West. What do you mean? They serve a great quarter pounder. And look at that triple burger right there. It's glorious. Look. The frig. I want to say that's garlic, but it might not be. And then you got your McChicken sandwich. Nah, I can't do 30 FPS anymore. Although I find with the Nintendo Switch, they're trying to hit 40 FPS more. And it does work. 40 FPS, oddly enough, on a smaller screen makes the difference. Makes a big difference. But, you know. We do have a bit of sad news today, though. Tomonobu Itagaki, creator of Ninja Gaiden 4 and Dead or Alive, has passed away. He passed away at the age of 58. And I don't know what you call it. Is it like a death trigger or something? But he had one set up for his Twitter account. So the moment he passed, it triggered, letting the world know that he passed away. And, yeah. He'll forever be known for the great games he made. Sad times. I was tempted to try the Wagyu burger at Burger King, but... I mean, is it really a Wagyu burger, though? Ain't Wagyu meat really expensive? I mean, Ghosty, you're just going down to make sure Steve hasn't come for the lawnmower, ain't you? Using those bin as an excuse. I still remember that interview he had where he said, I make games with beautiful women because sex sells and everyone wants to see beautiful women in games. And that is what Dead or Alive is. Him and Yoko Taro will go down in history as two cultured greats. Oh, it's £15. Okay, so that's pricey. Might have to try it. But yeah. It's like Yoko Taro. They turned around and said, why did you design 2B the way you did? And Yoko Taro turns around and says, because I like women. And they were like, is that no, but why did you design it that way? And he goes, because I like women. And it's like, okay. You know, the guy was based. He was literally just straight in. He even turned around and said, get rid of all the men and just leave all the women for me. Yoko Taro is one of a kind. I mean, it's a thing, right? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of stuff lately, comparisons of what female game characters looked like, 10, 15 years ago compared to what they look like now. And it's almost like it came out of Frankenstein's lab or something. It's such a drastic change. It's so weird. I mean, obviously they don't have to follow a certain trend, but god damn. It did. It didn't it? I don't know what it was with Dead or Alive that never really took off. I thought they were okay games, but they never really kicked off like they should have. I think Tekken really stole its thunder. And then came Virtua Fighter at the time, and Virtua Fighter at the time just really Virtua Fighter and Tekken became the two mainstreams. Nothing else really stood a chance. Soul Calibur came and it did okay, but it never really stood with the two big boys. Here's a fun fact, Susano. Did you know that Dead or Alive on the Xbox 360 had more DLC than you was actually able to download for a game on the Xbox 360? I think the limit for downloading DLC on the 360 for one game is set to something stupid like 300 or 400, and there was over 400 DLC in terms of skins for Dead or Alive. And so you physically couldn't download every single DLC for that game on the Xbox 360 because it just had too many. Microsoft set it up to an absurd number, so no one is going to release that much DLC for one game. And then this guy came along and said, "Hold my beer. Challenge accepted. I accept, and I shall win." So basically, if you found a new skin at the time that you really liked, you had to delete it off you had to go through your files, delete the ones that you didn't want to make space in the allocation, and then download the new ones. That's crazy. Everything would have been impacted by that. But the number was really high. Like really high, Susano. But these guys, nah, they were just doing everything. Bath tile skin, feather skin, tree skin, skull skin, funeral skin, tombstone skin. You name it, had a skin. They went crazy with Dead or Alive. They went after every fetish you could possibly think of. Even ones that you never even heard of. Brothers Grimm, who's your favorite character in Virtua Fighter? Do you know what, Infinite? I wouldn't put it past them. I would not put it past them. I know it sounds absolutely disgusting, but clearly you mentioned it, so you must have some affinity to it. I'm sure they would have catered for you. Did Black Myth Wukong on Xbox get that ridiculous 93 gigabyte update? I don't know. I didn't buy it. When it came out, my son wanted to play it. I've got no interest in Souls-like games. I don't like them. But he loves them, and so he wanted to play it on PC. So I bought it for him on Steam. I did try it. I didn't like it after the first half an hour, 40 minutes. And so I put it down. I at least gave it a try. But yeah, I don't know. If I buy a game, I generally don't buy it again. I did do that with Final Fantasy 16 because I told Infinite Hero there that I would, and so I stuck to my word. And I think I did it with one other game. I do like role-playing games. Black Myth Wukong is not a role-playing game. Let's not go there now, right? Black Myth Wukong is not a role-playing game. Unless you're gonna go full Reforge on me and tell me every game is a role-playing game. Pac-Man is a role-playing game because you're playing the role of Pac-Man. We're not gonna go down to that levels of silliness, are we? Hey, look, I will always opt for voiced dialogue over non-voiced dialogue, which is why I'm really enjoying Final Fantasy Tactics, even though I still suck at it. The fact that it's all voiced is so good. It makes all the difference. It's made me enjoy it. It was good, wasn't it, Heatwave? Did you do the DLC? What did the 90 gigabyte update have? Let me see if I can find anything on it. Black Myth Wukong 90 GB update. Okay, so you'll need approximately 93 gigabytes. Why would the update cannot be completed due to insufficient storage? You'll need to delete it. Yeah, I understand that, but what was in it? Does anyone actually know what was inside the update? Oh, I loved. What was wrong with? I don't get what was wrong with Final Fantasy 16. It was a good story. The color blue. 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 Black Myth Wukong patch notes. No, not BMW. Steam. You know what? Okay, here we go. This is August, man. Here we go. This one? This is today. 5.7 gigabytes. Is this the patch note? Because this is tiny. I guess it wasn't on Steam. No, Cesano said it was on Steam. And it doesn't look like it was on Steam. I'm just curious to know what's in it. Okay, here we go. I don't normally like going to reset error, but seems to be the only place I can find it. Due to a considerable number of underlying changes, we'd like to remind you of the following. Installed mods may cause compatibility issues. Okay, get rid of all of that. Okay. So, in addition to regular bug fixes, it will also include some performance optimizations. Due to a considerable number of underlying changes, we'd like to... The game has been out for so long at this point. Anyone that's wanted to play it has played it. I feel like it's good that they fixed it, but waiting a year to fix a game that's had bad performance, I think that's just dirty. Improve the combat experience against Yaoguai King Giant Xingdang. Journey's chart interference will guide the destined one to travel with Keeper's Shrine before any journey's chart is obtained. Integrated AMD FSR4 on compatible hardware. It will be available in the game settings. So this one makes sense coming later because I don't think it was available at the time. Or it was very new. Improved compatible mode. Now in compatible mode. Enabled ray tracing, frame generation, and some super resolution functions will be temporarily disabled to help players avoid game launch failures by driver or... Okay, so this is PC. So they're just disabling features. Adjusted the default graphics setting. Okay. Significantly improved the lighting quality for global illumination. Is set to low, making it closer to the... Okay. But none of this is actually 90 gigabytes worth. PS5 adjusted the performance mode back to 60 Hz, reducing input latency and achieving higher resolution than before. However, the lighting quality level has been adjusted to enhance performance, so it's gotten worse. So now you get a worse game, but a better performance. The original performance mode is still retained and renamed performance mode, Legacy. So you can still play the worst performance with better lighting. They've improved the loading speed, clarity of certain textures, improved CPU and blah, 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 added checks. There is nothing here that screams 90 gigabytes though. I did play Returnal. It's one of my favorite PS5 games. Do you remember that story I told you about Forza Horizon 4 on Xbox, where there is even to this day, somewhere in the open world, off the off-beaten track, in the middle of nowhere, there is actually a massive gaping hole that you can drive straight through, and you fall out of the game world. It is still there because in order for them to fix that problem, they would need to lift the whole map up and then re-download the whole map because it is one consistent map. Instead of it being broken into chunks, it's one big map, so the download size would be something like 70 gigabytes. I think they did the same thing here. What they're doing is lifting the game up, the game world and everything, and putting the new code and lifting it back down. It's a lift and shift. And so you're essentially downloading the whole game again. It's not that it's 90 gigabytes worth of fixes. The fixes are probably about a couple of gigabytes. But because of the way it affects the whole game in terms of map and everything else, and because it's one complete thing rather than being broken into pieces, that's why you're downloading a 90 gig file. I do, Crystals. I'm absolutely terrible at it, but I really like it. Hey, Graham and Ed. Drink to your heart's content, Grim. Just make sure you're safe. And if you're new here or not, and you're enjoying the show, do consider hitting that like button and subscribe, folks. It really helps the channel and the algorithm. YouTube is being an absolute pain. So if you are here enjoying the show, that like doesn't cost you anything. Do it. We've come a long way since the PS3. We have, and I think we're getting diminished results now. everything's now based on lighting to get the difference. I mean, have you guys seen how photorealistic the Cyberpunk looks with all the mods attached to it? It's insane. Like, when I saw that some time ago, I couldn't believe that that was Cyberpunk, man. Do you want to go full screen? Are you happy? No? You don't want to go full screen? Do you want to go full screen now? Okay, there we go. Yeah, this time. This is in-game. We laughed that Moore's Law is dead a little bit, and we looked a bit about the drama going on with the Xbox Ally. And we're just talking about video games in general. Mate, this is insane. Now, when you see this, you're like, my guy, we've entered the next era. This is too good, man. Look at it. This is Cyberpunk 2077. I think this has something like 70 different mods stacked together to get this to where it is in this current state. But man, that is a hell of a difference. It probably barely runs. No, it runs really well. It runs really, really well on PC. Obviously, if you've got like a really weak graphics card, it's not. But man, I don't think we've hit this level of like native gaming yet without mods. But it's crazy how modders are able to do this and get games running like this. Can you imagine if Cyberpunk launched looking like this? Can you imagine if Cyberpunk actually launched looking like this? I think the gaming generation would have lost their absolute mind. I think it would have won every award, everything. It would have won every award for the 2 years running, 3 years running. They would have just made an exception for it. Even the speedometer, it just looks so great. Absolutely. Absolutely. Bullets. I know, to me this just looks insane. And he's just driving in different vehicles at this point in this clip. Different settings. This is a Porsche. But yeah. Is this running on the Xbox LX? I do wonder just how many of these mods it can handle before it says, I'm out, boys. I'll see you in another life. This does run on a 4090. They had this running before the 5090 even came out. They had this mod working well before the 50 series was even announced. Ping pong, hey, Power Boss. But yeah, man. So all that talk about Walmart leaving, getting rid of Xbox stuff, and here is them promoting Xbox. There are 2.5 months left in 2025. Someone tell Xbox to chill. I can't believe people were still ringing up stores. Yeah, Brick, that sounds about right. It does, Susano. It was all fake news. MLID is basically saying that the next Xbox generation price is going to be $1,200 because it's comparable to laptop price. The parts are comparable to a laptop when the parts haven't even been finalized yet. My guy is just making crap up as he goes along. But that's a lot of good games. That's a lot of good games. You got Ninja Gaiden 4? It's a shame that the creator won't see this game through. He's no longer with us, but I hope it does well. I know why so serious, but don't tell these idiots that. They're like, oh no, it's gotta be a thing. What's this? Have you guys seen the difference in size between the Lenovo Go 2 and the Xbox ROG Ally X? I think Grim might have been onto something. The next hybrid will only be... Nah, it's going to be in stores. It's an extraction shooter, JB. Not my thing. You're ready for State of Decay 3? Wait, hasn't that game been cancelled? That game is still in development? Hasn't it been like 20 years? Microsoft doesn't usually give people that long, man. I know, but that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Okay, that's ridiculous. What I do appreciate though is that they have a trackpad. I don't know, Leaf. We've heard nothing about it for 20 years now. I mean, I hope it hasn't, because I know a lot of people are looking forward to it. But you can only go on with like no news for so long, right? Before you start to question its viability. Perfect Dark didn't exist. Heatwave. That's the problem. What you saw in that video wasn't real. It was all made up. It was all make believe. It was a dream, a fabrication. It wasn't real. I mean, I saw like a cinematic. I mean, we've seen Fable gameplay, so that was real. The Fable gameplay was real. I don't think the management at Xbox actually knew. And that's where the mismanagement comes in, Heatwave. It was Matt Booty's job to make sure these things are run correctly, and it's he failed at that. Man, they spent 400 million on that game and it did nothing. They had a vertical slice. A vertical slice is bad news, man. I mean, Sony isn't exempt by that heatwave. They decided to leave, you know, gaping debts in all of their studios. Come January, you're going to see a bunch of them have layoffs again because they just don't have anything to put in place of what they were developing. But Grim, that trackpad that the Lenovo has, I think they should have found a place to put that on the actual ROG Ally X. That's one of the reasons why I still love my Steam Deck, because of the trackpad. The trackpad just makes navigating everything so much easier. It's just so good, and it is so useful. Even like, because it's got two trackpads, you can use it like two mouses, and if you're playing FPSs, it's an option, right? And it works really good once you get used to it. Oh yeah, we're gonna see a bunch more Heatwave. Just use the screen. No, I don't want to touch the screen. I don't want my hands all over the screen. No, 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 no. We don't want to do that. That's a shiny screen. It looks nice. It looks beautiful. You don't want to get all fingerprints and stuff on that. No. If I did that, every time I saw fingerprints, I'd have to call Steve and tell him to buy me a new one. And you know he's not going to do that. Maybe the first 5 times, but after that, he's going to turn around and tell me to buy my own. When are we getting the next Xbox specs? See, here's the thing. I think Microsoft can still announce the next Xbox at the TGA. I think that would be a really good place to get all eyes on it, build massive hype. Or they're going to do it just before... No, Microsoft's financial year ends in December. They don't do April to April. They do January to January. So that would be the perfect time to skyrocket their share prices and end the financial year on a high. Because normally the financial year is from April to April, but Microsoft does it from January to January. So doing it at the the TGA, that actually makes business sense. Now, at the TGA, they just need to tease it, just to put it there and say it's real, and, you know, showcase a game, maybe Blade with it, or Halo, the next Halo, and showcase, like, I don't know, 10 seconds of it. 10 seconds of something running, and then it switches over to the new console, and that's it. And then Summer Showcase or whatever Xbox is going to do on their own, they can start promoting it a bit more then, and then November they can push out the OEM version. But they're so useful, Sirius. You have no idea. All the complaints that you have on the Windows OS and stuff would disappear overnight if it had trackpad. No, Mandalorian. It's going to be a box. I heard it was a couple days away. Let's see. It's on the 17th to the 19th of October, so it's from, and that's in Bangkok. So I guess depending on the time difference, it'll probably be 18th for me in the UK. But yes, tomorrow. Tomorrow, the next day. I actually think the evolution for game consoles should be what Nintendo have done, but not at that spec. I think they should push it a little more, and the ROG is definitely going in the right direction. They just need to get that price down. They need to get it down to around the 600. And in hindsight, you know, they kind of have with the ROG and with the Ally, and then the Ally X, which is premium, you pay a couple of hundred more. But I think if they really want to go down that route, they need to at least knock another 100 quid off for it to be a bit more palatable. But it cost them an arm and a leg just to subsidize this one, so I just don't see it. Nintendo's hardware is trash, but it sells. And Nintendo has proven that you don't need all these third parties. You just need to feed the community with the games they want. You know, Nintendo is doing really, really well financially. And if they announce a Zelda game and a Mario game and a Metroid game, that's it. Everyone goes mad and lose their mind. Throw in an Animal Crossing and a Pikmin, that's it. Everyone's off to the wildlands, stripping naked, running down the streets, singing Kumbaya. Just don't review any of them badly, because those naked people will come with pitchforks or knives to your door, asking you questions as to why. No, to me, the Xbox ROG Ally X is a blueprint for what the next machine's going to be. It's going to, you know, it's a blueprint for what it's going to be. And I think, well, man, this is, look down a little bit more. Look down upon me. But SEA is definitely doing some stuff, because clearly they've got this going on at the moment. I still want to play this Tanuki. I know there's a demo out for it. I was really interested in this thing. So, you know, they've got a booth over at Gamescom Asia. I don't suspect there's going to be much actually happening in terms of new announcements or anything else. In fact, I don't think they're going to show anything new personally, so don't get too hyped for this, because you'll probably be disappointed. But it'll be interesting to see if there is any new, you know, any announcements for older games that weren't on the platform coming over. You know? What's people's thoughts on the ROG Rekiri Pro? I've been looking at this controller and I really like the design, but I don't understand why they got rid of the LCD screen here. I like the design. I don't like the D-pad, but we don't use the D-pad anymore anyway. I kind of really like it. I don't often like controllers, but this one I do. But I'm surprised they got rid of the LCD display and still maintain the same price. The Dev Direct is going to be interesting. Fable needs to be there. I know that it's rumored to be there, so there is that. But it's going to be interesting. Back to work, Soul. Already? You're abandoning us? You're abandoning the channel? Did you at least drop a like before you go? You want the Rogue Rakiri too? Yeah, it's a good. It looks good. But I just love the way everyone that got their hands on an Xbox Rogue Ally X or Xbox Rogue Ally today just booted it up with the first PlayStation game, took a picture, put it online, and triggered everyone. Even the media is doing it. And look, if you see the media following that trend, you know at this point that they're doing it to piss you off. And the number of people, especially D-Batch, like he's in full force today. I really feel bad for Doc Dark because, I don't know, man. The lines are getting crossed with that guy. I've seen King Fresh overstep the line. I've seen D-Batch overstep the line with him and a few others. Like, the guy is just doing what he normally does and has fun tweeting and whatnot, but they are really going after that guy. Boom did buy that controller because that is Boom's tweet. I was supposed to be on his stream this Monday, but I just finished work so late, so there's just no chance I could be on there. Yeah, this week and next week is really bad for me in terms of just work, because we've just got so much going on. But, yeah. But hey, I am planning on streaming more. Yes, that is correct. The guy that's crying about being tired and having difficulties in doing stuff, I am planning on streaming more, probably some over the weekend. Over the weekend, it's generally going to be during the earlier hours for a couple of hours, maybe. And it will probably be me just playing games over at Twitch. So if you guys do want to check out me over at Twitch, you can do that. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming it on YouTube, or I might just set up a new channel for game streaming, but that just seems excessive. So I don't know. I'll probably put up a community post, but I'm probably going to start streaming a little bit more on the weekends and see how that goes. Mate, do not tell me what you saw yesterday was not a good game. That finale was epic. Do not tell me it was not epic. It had everything. It was literally the Avengers in waifu mode. Come on. Idea gave me this match. Withering Waves, they finally finished the 2.0 expansion yesterday. Oh, sorry, you mentioned, didn't you? But dude, it was epic. You can check out the VOD. It's still there for like 2 weeks. My God, it was epic. You see, Susano knows instantly. Susano, you know, me and Susano, we're on the same wavelength. I mean, what's going to be their game of the year? Because there's no way Ghost of Yotei is going to win that. No matter how much I think Ghost of Yotei is an okay game, it's just it's nowhere near as good as the original. How are you finding it, Devastator? Yes, let's not forget that Power Boss does own his own Walmart, because he did visit his own Walmart. I'm so hoping that catches on. Everyone gonna come to Power Boss. Hey man, sort a brother out. Just want you to know, Power, that if it does catch on, I'm taking full credit for that. Oh, Lucia looks cool. Lucia's proper goon, right? Expedition 33 or Silksong will win this year. I think Expedition 33 should take it. It did chart. It sold well, but you know, it's just not as good as the original. They changed the formula. They kind of said to themselves, "Hey, we want to keep it the same as Ghost of Tsushima, but make it more open world and give you stuff to do in that open world that really doesn't matter, and you could have just left it the way it was. And then at the same time, disjoint the story entirely because it's no longer a linear path. You get to take out the enemies in the order you want." So at where I was at when I was playing, I'm further than that now, but when I don't want to give any spoilers, I could take out any of 2 or 3 of the enemies I wanted of the Yote 6 at any order I wanted. So there's no coherent story there anymore. It's disjointed. You can't write a well-formed story with all of that. And there are moments I've been told that where the story gets really interesting and really good, but those are few and far in between because of the way the game is designed. And it was just badly designed. They decided to do stuff that they didn't need to. All they had to do was just stick to the original formula and just give us more of what made that game special. And I'm not saying it's a bad game, because it's not. It's not a bad game. But it's not on the level of Ghost of Tsushima. And no, it's got nothing to do with Atsu. I think she's a fine character, you know. But because of the story, you never really... How can I say? You never really get invested because it's so disjointed. Whereas with Jin, because it was so linear and you followed that linear path all the way through, it made more sense and it allowed you to get more invested. I don't know if that makes sense. Wait, who are we talking? Who's calling me Reforge again? I know you do, Devastator. When I saw Lucia, I was like, yep, that's Devastator ruler. Hey, I'm just being honest. I mean, I don't lie when it comes to what I feel about games. I mean, the fact that I'm saying Returnal is one of my favorite PS5 games tells you everything. I gave Astro Bot a 93. I really enjoyed it. I also gave it an 87 if you don't care about PlayStation. That game especially plays on your nostalgia for PlayStation. And if you don't like the nostalgia stuff and you just want the platforming, then it loses about 5-6 points. Because the nostalgia was a key part of it. So I think I'm quite fair when it comes to games. I don't say that a game is bad just because it's on an X platform or a Y platform. You know? Oh no, I get that, Grim. I'm just saying in general, like when I talk about games, I try to be as fair as I possibly can. Just like how I say Carmine is one of the greatest characters in Gears of War. Guy's amazing. He should have actually been in place of Marcus. In fact, he should have been the squad leader. He is the best character in there. Just ask Steve. Steve adores him. I don't know why, but he does. And I kind of agree with him to a certain degree. Carmine really should have been the center stage. So there's no lies here. Oh man, that meltdown was crazy, man. My meltdown with AGM was crazy. When I melted down, his interpretation of me, AGM's interpretation of me melting down was, why do you care? That was the question I asked him in the video. And apparently that was my meltdown moment. And he started laughing and running off screen and doing all sorts of gymnastics in the background. I don't know what the fuck he was doing, but I still haven't seen the latest video he's done on me. I probably do need to react to that at some point. Although I've been told there's not much being aimed at my direction. It's between supermarkets, baby steps. Mate, I think when I turned around and told him that line from Street Fighter the movie, that said everything. It's not every day, you know, that people get graced with my excellence. And it is an important day when I do grace them. And as you saw for him, it was. But for me, it was Tuesday. That's all I can say. You see, Steve? Shinzo cosplayed as Carmine, your favorite character. But what do you guys think is going to be, what do you think is going to be, do you think Expedition 33 is going to take Game of the Year? Why so serious? I did the same for my son upstairs. Dude, I went to my kids, right? So my two boys wanted a PC. So I helped them build the PC. They basically take my hand-me-downs for the most part. And then we bought the pieces that they were missing. And so I was speaking to my kid and my youngest one. I said, look, I've got a PS5 here. If you want it, I can give it to you. You got your Series S. You can have both of those. And he's going, can you get me a PC? I said, why? And he goes, because I want to play Roblox. I'm like, but you've got Roblox on the Xbox. And he goes, yeah, but I can't type on there, so it's no good. Okay. So I went and bought him like a £250 mini PC. And he's got the settings set down to medium, and it runs 60 FPS, and he's happy. He didn't want the PS5. And he played the Series S for a long time. But now, if I give him a controller, he picks it up like this, right? And it goes, Dad, what is this? And I'm like, I don't even know you kids anymore. What do you mean, what is a controller? It's the Holy Grail. They've all become keyboard players. Proper chumps. Man. All of them. Yeah, I'm planning on playing more Expedition 33 this weekend. Monday to Wednesdays I usually play my gacha games over on Twitch. So I don't know if I'm going to still stream over at YouTube or... I don't know. I'm just in mind that it really hurts the channel's algorithm. And it stops... the reason why I'm on two minds to stream on my this YouTube channel for gaming is because essentially the YouTube algorithm doesn't like it. And every time I do, we get like 20 people turn up, which I'm grateful for, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, the YouTube algorithm basically says, right, this channel isn't working very well right now. we're not going to send any of their videos out either. It's a constant battle with YouTube, so it's just a constant balancing act that you have to do. Whereas over at Twitch, you just don't have that problem. The only problem you have at Twitch is never being discovered, which is its own challenge. Yeah, Sedano is still the same. There's nothing changed. So, does anyone actually care about this? I've been seeing this, and Jez has been talking about this for a while now. Does anyone actually care about this game skipping Xbox? I know people are talking about it. Like, does anyone actually care? Another massively trending game. I never heard of this game until he actually talked about it skipping Xbox. I was like, my guy, what are you exactly talking about? Because this game doesn't make any sense. I didn't even know it existed until you turned around and showed it to me. It's a game called Absalom. Like, I don't know. See, this is what... Oh, damn. It's £5. $5. Okay. Okay, I didn't know about this. I need to go check this out and see if it's still that price. I'll pick that up at that price. I've wanted to play the Yeez games for a while. I did not know the Yeez games dropped down to that level. I'm just wondering, like, I mean, let me see if there's a YouTube video of Absalom. YouTube. We need Ab. Man, have you guys seen the state of Destiny? Actually, forget about the state of Destiny. Has anyone seen Destiny 2? A lot of these indie games tend to have good scores. Noisy Pixel has a review. We can check it out. Doesn't look too bad. It's still not my cup of tea. So none of you have seen Destiny 2? No? Because apparently none of the players have either. Because they all left. Yeah, they went from 300,000 concurrent players. They're now down to single digits last I checked the other day on PC. In fact, their numbers are lower than the time Curse of Osiris came in. That's how you know it's bad, man. So this is the charts here. What's going on here? One sec, let me find a better screen. Okay, this is fine. I couldn't scroll the page for a second there. Alright. It's down to 15,000 players, but man, look at that, 8,000. It was down to 8,000. 2,000. 2,000 players. It's constantly dipping below 10,000. Destiny 2 base is free, but realistically, it's not free. After you've played the game for about 10 minutes, it says, hey, would you like to buy this? And then you say no. And then 30 seconds later, it says, hey, would you like to buy this? God damn it. And then you say no. And then it says, hey, would you like to buy this? And you say no. And it goes, hey, would you like to buy this expansion? And you say no. And it's just a constant battle. But yeah, these numbers aren't good, man. I mean, it crashed down to no one was playing it at 11 p.m. Bad times, man. Bad times. Bad times. But here's a review from Noisy Pixel. I like this channel. They do these sorts of weird indie games when it comes to. And so this is Noisy Pixel. Here's a review of it. It's a short one so we can check it out and see what you guys think of it. It's really bad. And the worst thing about it, right? I don't know if you guys have heard of a content creator called Aztecross. He actually made a video saying how this is really bad and Bungie needs to do something. We need to... Basically, a D3 is what's needed. And they really needed to do a Destiny 3 after the final shape. The final shape ended the 10-year saga. And so Destiny 2 finally came to an end. And at that point, they should have had a Destiny 3 ready. Clean slate, new story, off you go. It continues where you left off, but it just refreshes everything and you start brand new. Right? Just like it did with Destiny 2 from Destiny 1. And that would have been amazing. But instead they decided to continue with Destiny 2. They reduced the content that they gave you by about 50%. They completely got rid of PvP. It's still there, but the team no longer... The PvP team doesn't exist. They work on Marathon right now. And so you don't even get a strike a season anymore. You know how they promised you like 2 strikes a season, a dungeon. Now you have to pay for the dungeons. You don't get them for free. You don't get a guaranteed new strike every update. And it's just really awful. The game is just in a really, really bad place right now. And then you've got the devs coming out saying, you don't know what you're talking about. We know what's good for the game. You armchair devs don't know how difficult it is to make a game. I'm like, bitch, please. We're the ones giving you the money, so shut the fuck up and get back to your desk and start coding. The game is in a shit place. Stop trying to sugarcoat it. And Aztecross said pretty much the same thing in just not, you know, in not so many words. But these devs are absolutely stupid. If you're going to come out and make a statement like that when your game is literally dying. Yeah, I'm not surprised more people aren't leaving. Are you talking about the Edge of Fate Dark Hunters? I mean, the last one I played, I finished the story for Final Shape, and I was done. I finished the story because I wanted to see how it ended, and I was done. I heard Edge of Fate is bad. I mean, for Renegade, they're bringing Star Wars into it. And no, I'm not talking about just a collaboration. Actual canon Star Wars. Lightsabers, the works. Star Wars. Star Wars! I bet that was Herman Holst's move over there. You know, with the whole Concorde being his Star Wars. He then moved it over to a canon storyline. It must be him. He did, Vincey. He did. He said, if you can do it better, go do it yourself. It was a really horrible message from that developer, and it only took like a few days, and it was at 15K, and it dropped below 10K, and then Isocross released another video going, "Ah, I told you so, bitch." Bungie wants Destiny 2 to be Fortnite. I mean, Activision wanted Destiny 2 to be a competitive esport. That's why they went, well, more like Bungie wanted it with the release of Destiny 2. And that's why they released it with double primaries at the time. And all the content creators that went there at the time that saw it told them, don't do this, it's bad, no one's going to like it, no one's going to enjoy it. They said, no, the community wants double primaries. This is what they want. We're going to slow the game down because that's what they want. We're going to give them fixed roles because that's what they want. And so 2 weeks into the release of the Red War, and it was like, well, what are we doing now? I got that gun. I've got every gun in the game. So there's nothing literally left for me to do. And so then they released the Battle Pass, and they made you pay for the Battle Pass. And so people grinded the Battle Pass doing bounties. And then Eververse was supposed to fund, you know, the Halloween events and seasonal events. And so what they did was they released the Battle Pass within those events. But they gave it to you for free. And said you needed to do challenges. But if you wanted the cool rewards, you had to pay for the Battle Pass inside the Battle Pass. And then you could get the cool rewards instantly. The free rewards were just garbage. Good old Bungie. Trying to milk you for everything. There was one thing that they did that I really wanted for your Guardian. They had on one of the Halloween events, they had the Gundam colors that you could get, and I really wanted it, but I refused to pay for a Battle Pass inside a Battle Pass. You basically have the standard Battle Pass. It's not even a paid track. You activate the second Battle Pass. Yeah, that's how it works. And it was FOMO as well. It expired. Who's that, brothers? I mean, they just really mishandled. Like, if you're talking about a company that mishandled Destiny, you're looking like a game in general. Bungie is king at it. Like, they all, like, check this out. In terms of actual survivability, right? Bungie was 4 or 5 weeks away from shutting down, like literally closing the servers, with how low the numbers got with Curse of Osiris. Curse of Osiris was the lowest point, even lower than the House of Wolves. The House of Wolves was bad. And then they rebounded with that with the Taken King. But the Curse of Osiris hit all new lows. The player numbers were so low that had those numbers continued to dwindle at the rate that they were bleeding players, hemorrhaging players, they would have had to they would have closed shop within 4 or 5 weeks, and they made this, you know, they said this openly. There was no saving it. And, you know, they released the Go Fast update, and that really changed things, and it brought some of the players back. Right now, their numbers are lower than Curse of Osiris. And you've got developers out there telling people that if you don't like it, don't play it. Your numbers are worse than Curse of Osiris. And you right now, when you need every player to be playing, you're turning around and telling them if you don't like it, piss off. My guy, you're just basically, and then you're going to cry because people didn't play it and you lost your job. Activision was never the problem, man. Microsoft was never the problem. Bungie were just bad. They're just rubbish. Right? Exactly. Golden parachute away. That was terrible. Those exotics they released those exotics on Xbox. I think it was 2 days after the Destiny 2 came out. They finally were released on Xbox. They held them in captive for all that time. That was dirty. Do you guys want to check out this review? It's a 6-minute review. I can speed up the thing as well so we can have it at 1.5 speed, so it's a little faster. If you guys want to see what this game Absalom is all about. Devastator, they had the opportunity to do it. In fact, when Bungie failed to meet the deadline to release the expansion, in their contract it states that if they fail to meet deadlines for key milestones, Activision has the right to retain the IP. And so Activision gave them a lifeline and re-edited the contract and basically gave them an additional 3-4 months to get it done. And if they didn't get it done in that time extension, then they would have lost the IP. So as bad as Activision was, and as greedy as Activision was for money, you know, they could have owned Destiny. They could have taken the IP. It was in the contract. All right, let's check this out.
When I think of beat-em-ups, I immediately picture brief, casual experiences that benefit from co-op and are best played in short bursts. I don't dislike the genre, but it's far from my preferred avenue of gameplay-focused experiences. All this to say that I wasn't actually captivated by the incoming launch of Absalom, even if it's a roguelite at its core. To be honest, I just didn't believe a melding of those two genres can work effectively, leading me to dismiss the title. That was until it launched. With an overwhelmingly positive reception in Absalom's wake, my curiosity grew tenfold. Consequently, I tried it out and completely understood why there was such a buzz around this release, even if not all of it lands smoothly.
I just don't see... I don't see these games selling well on Xbox. I just don't. I know there's a market for them, but it's really small. I just don't see that these games appeal to the majority of Xbox gamers. And so, for it to skip probably makes sense.
Absalom takes place in the world of Talam, which is suffering from a conflict caused by a magical cataclysm initiated by wizards. Now, the Sun King Azra has enslaved those wizards into his Crimson Order, conquering several lands and establishing a new status quo. However, a group of rebels led by the enchantress Ushuai intends to defy his rule, which forms the backbone of the story. Unfortunately, while there's a strong foundation supported by an excellent presentation and full voice acting across characters and environments, the plot itself doesn't communicate compellingly. It's just that Azra's reign is treated too passively by the cast, which clashes with the supposed severity of the situation. There's plenty of intrigue in the setting, especially regarding the morality of each faction, and Ushuai unveils a good amount of context through interactables, but this often makes her feel more like an exposition machine rather than a character. Overall, the narrative feels unceremonious and stiff in execution, which is a shame because it's clear a great deal of effort went into the world building. An animated series was even confirmed before the game's release, showing the team's confident in this setting. I'm interested in seeing the story explored in that format since it's likely far better than what you get in this game's structure. Here, the playable cast may also get more to work with, since in the game they only receive brief hints of backstory and personality that lack consistency. Thankfully, Absalom thrives in its relatively unique gameplay identity, where its beat-em-up foundations are profoundly showcased. Each of the 4 playable characters feel distinct in terms of combo strings and special attacks. Meanwhile, the embedded
I mean, let's face it, you don't play these games for the story. No, this is Noisy Pixel. I like Noisy Pixel. They're a good site. But yeah, you don't play these games for the story, roguelike games. You play them for the experience, the gameplay, and the setting if it appeals to you. But yeah, the story comes second for most people playing roguelike games, especially in these settings like this as a beat 'em up. You know, what was that game, 33 Immortals? No one's playing that for the story. You're playing that for the, the gameplay, the experience of playing with 100 other players.
RPG systems bring in the roguelike elements, sometimes to the game's benefit, other times to its detriment. You can absolutely finish a run early if you're skilled enough, but the meta progression can feel a bit heavy-handed. Of the several currencies you collect, one allows for unlocking significant stat increases and starting boons that make a huge difference across runs. Because of this, your success isn't only tied to personal skill, but also to the stat gains between attempts. Now, that reliance can actually undercut the satisfaction of skill-based growth. Personally, this design choice doesn't really bother me much, it's just something I noticed while playing. I actually enjoyed how far the roguelike implementations go, as they don't just unlock weapons or cosmetics for future runs. All in all, it's refreshing to see a transparent RPG-like structure of continually expanding perks. Still, it won't appeal to everyone. I also like the inclusion of environmental hazards and secret paths, which makes exploration just as important as mastering combat. Falling into a trap can easily ruin a run, so there's always tension. Feeding into the rhythm of risk and reward, the combat in Absalom is surprisingly sharp and encourages constant, aggressive play. Defense is often just offense in another form. Dodging into attacks at the right time lets you deflect and stagger enemies, creating openings for counterattacks. Sidestepping is safer, but less rewarding, while directly clashing with attacks is riskier but can yield the best results. Grabbing opponents also builds on this aggressive flow, where you simply walk into them when they're open. Honestly, this mechanic is the only one that didn't really click for me, as it feels kind of awkward in practice, whether intentional or not. Okay, but returning to the roguelite cycle, Absalom offers unlockable specials for each character and elemental upgrades both tied to separate currencies. These options, along with branching paths and side quests, keep each run feeling pretty unique. Even when repetition sets in, especially when re-challenging bosses, their multi-phase designs remain engaging and well thought out. However, mid-run upgrades can feel a little hit or miss. Many are minor buffs or situational effects that don't impact your playstyle too much. The best ones, which were new moves and combo extensions, are called inspirations, and they're disappointingly rare. Their temporary nature might turn players off, and I somewhat agree. The game already has enough systems in play that these power-ups didn't need to be fleeting, though.
So my biggest issue with these games right now is that there's just too many of them. Just like everyone wants to make a game that can one-shot you and call it a Souls-like game because the enemy can breathe and it takes like 99.9% of your health away, and people think that's challenging. I also think that there's just way too many roguelike games, and when you release too many of them, you saturate the market, and so the good and the bad, it all starts to merge and people just get disinterested. Returnal is a roguelike game, but I think it's done really, really well, and it's different to all of these. And it's done in such a different way that it makes it unique and fresh, and it's a great experience. I feel like every time I'm looking at this, I'm just looking at all the other roguelike games that came before it, and I just can't be bothered. You know, I look at this, and sure, I'm thinking it's not Hades, but I see the similarities, and it's just too much the same. I don't know if that's making sense or if that's really getting through, but I feel like there's no originality there. No, gaming, this isn't IGN doing the review. This is Noisy Pixel. I will post the video in the chat so you can see it for yourself as well. Like I said, I like this group. They're really honest. They're really good. Hey, look, the emotional damage is over at Twitch. The amount of times you guys were pressing those buttons while I was trying to watch a very emotional scene last night, and you guys wouldn't let me do it without the emotional damage and all of that shit. Anyway, back to the video.
Oh, that does make finding them all the more satisfying. It's a double-edged design choice that adds a bit of flavor even as it frustrates. Two other standout areas are Absalom's presentation and soundtrack. The hand-drawn fantasy art is gorgeous, and the music, composed by Yuka Kitamura, Gareth Coker, and Mick Gordon, is phenomenal across the board. It's one of the best scores I've heard this year and will likely stay memorable for a long time. The inclusion of local and online co-op along with the assist mode adds value for both accessibility and replayability. I didn't actually test out these features personally, but they seem well implemented and promising for long-term play. Absalom is a confident roguelike that puts Emu's beat-em-up expertise on full display in a unique, replay-heavy format. Its combat systems, stellar soundtrack, and character-driven progression form a solid multi-genre experience. The story doesn't hit as hard as it should, and the progression balance may divide some players, but for those who connect with its approach, Absalom delivers an addictive loop worth returning to again and again. Noisy Pixel is giving Absalom an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by...
Not a bad review. Not a bad score. But yeah, I don't know. I just find that there's way too many of these games, and the oversaturation of the market is really hurting it. I mean, that's the thing. The look is exactly the same as most of the others, Devastator. It's the gameplay, it's the mechanics, and it's doing some stuff that others might not do by making you overpowered a little bit through progression. There was another one I played a couple of years ago that I really enjoyed. It was a pixel version of it. It was a pixel game, but it was done really well. But again, it's just more of the same again and again and again. And I feel like they just need to differentiate more, and they don't. Boys, boys, boys. It's happened, boys. Read it and weep. I don't care about the rest. Admission from a PS fan that it is an Xbox. The rest of the statement doesn't matter. He's openly admitted that it's an Xbox and he can never take that back. Only the Ally, not the Ally X. The Ally is available on Amazon here as well in the UK, but the Ally X is exclusive to Asus and Curry's over here. Let me check something out. Oh, we did get 2 subs. Thank you so much. I don't know if it came from my videos or from the stream, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I mean, yeah, their pricing structure over there is crazy. I don't get why it's so expensive over there. Let me see if I can do something real quick. Stay with me, chat. Stay with me. Stay with me. It might be worth it. It might just be worth it. For those of you that stayed around, it might just be that time again. So, as you know, kind people are sending me codes. I don't really know what they are, but they are Steam codes, essentially. So if you want to be in a chance to win a random Steam game, do !win in chat right now. Let's see if this works. Hey, if you run away, you're missing out. !win is what you need. Yeah, it's working, bullets, you're in. There's a DCG video. Do you guys want to be scarred by a DCG video? Oh no. Kabini, you left my Discord. Why? I feel wounded. This would have been amazing. I'm only kidding. I appreciate you, dude. I still appreciate you. You sent me a video in Discord? Are you sure? You sent it to me? Hey, come on, every one of you bought the Xbox ROG, right? These are games that will work on your Xbox ROG Ally. Or on your next Xbox. Where did you send it? Oh, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about today. Something that was sent to me earlier. I think this is important. So the ROG Xbox Ally X Ryzen, according to Notebook Check, Extreme is no match for Intel Panther Lake, as leaked 3D Mark scores put Intel iGPU 72% ahead. That's crazy. Initial reviews of the first ever Xbox handheld gaming console are out. Per our testing, the console is an improvement over the regular ROG Ally in almost every possible way. This also includes performance, where the Asus ROG Ally X with the Ryzen 2 Extreme and its Radeon 890M is around 10-15% faster. However, this performance data is good. While performance data is good, Intel's latest Panther Lake iGPU seems to be much faster according to leaked reports. So something to keep a close eye on. These are only leaked reports, so we don't know how real or true they are. But it's on the benchmarking software, it pulled 72% ahead of the Radeon 890 found in the Ally Extreme. What do you think? Intel been cooking, right? 72% ahead at 200% of the price. I'll give it another 30 seconds and then we're going to do the first giveaway. And then we'll check out that video on DCG. And then we'll do one more giveaway after that. And I'm going to be trying to do a couple giveaways every stream. I just need to remember to do it. So I'm going to make sure that I remember it. I'll do it towards, maybe one towards the middle and one towards the end. So we'll see how it goes. Exclamation win if anyone is interested. Last 10 seconds. All right. Only 3 of you entered. Drift, Weapon X, Bullets, and Bullets, you win. So send me a DM and I'll actually I've already got you in DM. I will send you a blind code. We'll do another giveaway as well after the actual after the next video. And that, if you're thinking, just in case you think I'm making it up, I'm not. It's right here. Drift, Weapon, Bullets. He was the winner. But I'm not making it up. I know
Hey there,
people
gamers.
often think we do that, but we're not. You had a 33% chance. Let me set up the new one, and then people can get into doing it again. All right. So the next one is up. Diablo, you need to do it again. Exclamation win for the second giveaway, which we will be announcing after this video. All right. You guys want to have this face as etched into your memory as the last thing we watched today. Would have been my first choice. But here we go. He's constipated and he's ready. Let's do this, PlayStation guy.
This guy here, and today we're talking about the PlayStation 6 because there have been a lot of next-gen leaks, talks about the graphics, the price tag, the load times, and honestly, next-gen feels a bit like a mixed bag, and I feel like there just hasn't been the hype for the PlayStation 6 that there has been for the PlayStation 5. I just feel like we're already having such good graphics. Something about next-gen feels, well, a bit impossible. Well, the new leaks that came out today are officially saying that Sony's plans are set in stone. They want the PlayStation 6 to come out in 2027.
Now here's the problem with this, right? And this is why Moore's Law is just fake, right? And I'm gonna, this is literal proof right now, right? If someone says a couple, what does that mean in terms of numbers? What does that mean in terms of numbers? Just so you know, Bullets, Gaming, and Weapon are the only ones that have entered so far. So please use exclamation win to enter the competition. 2. And if you say a few, you're talking about 3. Now, when you say some years, you're talking 4 or more, right? Mark Cerny, literally in the video, turned around and said, the PlayStation 6 is a few years away at the earliest. Now, you're talking about the guy who is building the goddamn machine, designing the machine, telling you that at the earliest, this thing is going to land 2028. That's why they're updating the PS5's PISA and FSR to basically withstand a couple and that extra year or so, right? And so Moore's Law is saying, no, Mark Cerny is lying. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's chatting shit. I, as Moore's Law, know what I'm talking about because I work for Sony and I am a Sony CEO, and I'm telling you that it's coming mid or early 2027. Now, who would you rather believe? Mark Cerny or Moore's Law? Like, who do you think will know when the machines are coming out? The next generation machine. Do you think Mark Cerny might just have a bit more information when he says at the earliest a few more years? Or do you believe that this guy, who I don't know where he's getting his sources, is going to be smarter and know more information than the guy building the bloody machines and designing them? Who do you think? Phil Spencer. You know what? At this point, you might as well throw Phil Spencer into the bag. Like, who would you believe? No, I think the next Xbox is going to be 2026, but it's going to be an OEM machine. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles that we're going to expect with the true next generation Xbox, but it's going to be like a soft launch. So anyone that really grabs that is going to be fine, and it's probably going to be powerful enough, or maybe even more powerful than what Microsoft's released. I don't know, right? But the Microsoft version will land in 2027. And that's how I'm seeing it. And then PlayStation will release theirs in 28. I mean, they've always said with the PS5 Pro's launch, a 28 to 2030 launch is where they see it because they want to give time for the Pro to fruition. It's still got life in it. It still has use. Even though it's limited by the PS5 base, it still had, they just released a $700, $800 console. So they can't just throw it out the door within 1 year. And that's why they said few, which means 28. But here's Moore's Law again, sticking his nose into everything and everyone using him as the gospel Jesus of leaked information. And my guy is wrong on every account. He's wrong on the Xbox leak. He's wrong on the PlayStation leak. Why are people even listening to this fraud?
Now, what I find interesting is it feels like 95% of the internet is pissed about this because, honestly, it just seems...
That's because 95% of the internet doesn't have a brain. That's from the pony side. Because it's only the ponies that are going to be pissed by it.
Seems like this has been such a short generation, and a lot of that comes down to Sony themselves. They've just released so few actual exclusives. We've had a lot of cool third-party stuff. I'm not going to pretend I have...
Did he just say that? Someone go get Nibs right now. Nibs ain't going to stand for this. Someone go get Nibs right now. There's no way that Nibs is going to stand for this. Listen to what he said. Because Nibs said they released more PlayStation 5 exclusives on the PS5 than they did in any other generation.
A short generation, and a lot of that comes down to Sony themselves. They've just released so few actual exclusives.
Mate, Nibs has already watched this. He's writing his expose on Twitter right now. It should be done in time for, next week. Be prepared for that wall of text.
Had a lot of cool third-party stuff. I'm not going to pretend I haven't been playing my PlayStation 5 a lot, but when I think about Sony games on a Sony system, how many have there really been? God of War, Spider-Man, Gran Turismo, Astrobot, Ghost of Yotei. There have been some, and they've been fantastic, but it just feels like next gen, there are still new games about to come out on the PlayStation 4. You want to tell me there's about to be a PlayStation 6? Let's talk about these leaks, and I want to take a look at a lot of the react.
Can you imagine that? I mean, there's still games coming out for the PS4. I don't mean to be that guy, but they just need to leave that console behind. Microsoft need to do the same with the Xbox One. They just need to leave it behind, man. They just need to leave it behind.
Because it does seem like there is this cloud of pessimism specifically on that 2027 release date that Sony, I feel like they're going to have to really hype us up because right now there is just no excitement for next gen. Let's get into it.
I also feel like the excitement for gaming in general has really gone down. I don't think that, the younger generation are excited into video games as much as we were as kids. And I also feel like we as adults now, because our lives are so busy, we don't get excited for the same level of games because it's really rare to find something that's going to wow you. We were talking about this last stream, and it's really rare that we find a game that truly engulfs you and makes you super excited. Unless it's a franchise that you absolutely love, that you want to play, and there's no way you're going to miss out on it. Like Final Fantasy for me, for example. Gears for Steve. It might be something else for one of you two. Alan Wake is another one for me. Unless it's like a specific franchise that I know I'm absolutely gonna love and play, like Nier Automata, there's no way, regardless of platform, I'd buy a new console if it was exclusive to that platform. Like I've done that before, and I'll do it again. I don't have that excitement anymore, and I don't know what it is. I feel like games are so generic these days. I know we're getting Ninja Gaiden 4 and all that. It doesn't excite me the way like the games in the past did. Like when we played these games back on the OG Xbox and the 360. I don't know. I feel like that level of hype and excitement has diminished, and maybe that's because of how we consume media today, or maybe it's because of the way we don't consume media as we used to anymore. I don't know, man. Even stuff like the midnight launches for video games or consoles, none of the generation today will experience that, and they don't want to experience it. It's a different mindset.
I hope you're having a great day, and if you could please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already.
What do you mean Hoyo has, Brick?
Where this actually came from originally, multiple sources from separate reports have come out and independently verified this, but the two main people we're talking about is Moore's Law is dead and Kepler. Now, we've talked...
So now Kepler 2, L2, who lied about Xbox's leaks just so he could get some notoriety because he's feeling left out now that Moore's Law is getting a lot of the fame. So both of them now have decided that they're going to agree between them that they are smarter and know more than Mark Cerny. I mean, you can't even make this shit up. Like, I'm just saying, you can't make this up. It's really that bad. But these two over here are saying that they know more than Mark Cerny when Mark Cerny said at least a few years.
Talked about these guys in the past on the channel. These guys seem to have very deep sources inside of AMD. Next Gen is being produced by AMD. They're the people designing the chips, basically making the core brains of these next gen.
I mean, they've been making the core brains since the Xbox One. What do you want about? And the PS4
consoles. And apparently inside it, they've specifically said, I literally have a document showing me when they want to manufacture these. It's in the middle or even early 2027. That's exactly when they're going to be making the PlayStation 6. So there is a chance it gets bumped to 2028, but a lot of people are instantly saying, okay, like this better avoid a lot of the pitfalls of the PlayStation 5 launch disaster. Like, people sort of forget this now because we're 5 years deep onto the PS5, but it was basically impossible to get a PlayStation 5 for so long. I think Sony is sort of gearing up to make PlayStation 6 not have the shortages the PS5 had. But other than the positive takes, 95% of it is people just saying, gonna be the worst performing console generation sales-wise. Look at this. Do we really need a new generation at this point? Not much to really justify these new consoles at this point. But getting the new Xbox would like be buying the Dreamcast with the knowledge that Sega is going to discontinue it. Look at this. This better not be true. This generation sucked. They supported the previous generation for like 75% of the time. We barely got to next gen. Couple that with barely in exclusives. What's the point? Now, I find this to be a fascinating proposition, so to speak, because I do think that a lot of the problem with the PlayStation 5 is now just how long it takes to make any game, right? Truly consider that. Talk to any dev, watch any documentary. It takes about 5 years to make a game now. 5 years. Console generations are typically either 7 years or 8 years. So you're trying to tell me...
What will this new pisser do? It's just supposed to handle lower resolutions better, if I understand this correctly. Currently, Pisser can't do 720p, and a lot of games are dropping down to 720p. So when they upscale to 4K, it causes all sorts of graphical fragmentation distortions with shimmering, flickering, and all sorts of things. The game just running worse than the base model. It's supposed to fix some of that stuff and make it run better. Also optimize the upscaling as well, so it just runs better. So that's what it's they're hoping it will do. Exclamation win in case you're still looking for entering the competition. We are going to announce the winner after the video.
If you are a fully dedicated...
You know what? I'm going to speed this up because I just realized how long this video is.
Big staff studio with a total production budget, nothing goes wrong. That means you're going to release one game per console generation.
That's crazy, right? Just think about it. If you start working on a game now, the average console lifespan is 7 years, right? The average game dev duration for a AAA game is 10 years. So you're basically saying that every second generation of a console is a waste of time and you shouldn't buy it because none of those great games are going to be on it. That sounds crazy, right? Yeah, Woodpit, I just get given a bunch of Steam games, so they just keep... I'm just giving those away. If I get given Xbox codes to give away, I will let you guys know that it's an Xbox code. I expect it to be a Steam code until I say so. Gaming gave me a few codes to give away. And so I've been given the codes by other people as well. And they just said me to give them away on the channel. So that's what I'm doing. Passing it on. But, you know, 10 years? That's crazy. It's mental, right? When a game takes 10 years and the lifespan of a console is 7 years, every second generation then means it's going to miss that console. It's going to miss. And that console generation is going to have not a lot of great games. I don't know. It just sounds weird to me.
That to me, they have to figure out a way to speed stuff up. Either tinier games, less production, just actually get stuff out. At this point, I just feel like I keep reminiscing about the PlayStation 4 generation, where there really was just exclusive. Last of Us, Uncharted, Infamous, everything back to back. Here's Killzone, constantly reboot, sequel, next project, Bloodborne, right? There was so much excitement about not just having a PlayStation 4, but the future of PlayStation 4 that the PS5 does not have at all.
I don't want to say this, but he's right. He's right. And this is what I was trying to tell some of those other PlayStation fans that don't want to listen. There was a difference in when the PS4 was released and how quick those games were coming out compared to the likes of what we have now on the PS5. They're just not getting the games. Can you imagine if Microsoft did not go their multi-platform strat and decided that we're going to make all these games exclusive? For this whole year, Sony would have just had Ghost of Yotei. That's it. They wouldn't have had all of those games that Xbox would have given them. That could have been the opportunity that Microsoft would have been waiting for. But they decided to change paths way too early. They had, you know, if it wasn't for Microsoft right now carrying PlayStation with all the games that they're putting over there, they would honestly have almost nothing. And then all Microsoft would have had to do is go and money hat some of those third-party exclusives, and it just becomes the #1 console overnight. Sadly, I'm not the brains over there. They've got people that don't really think like me.
Look at so many of these replies. So much of this. People are like, okay, I don't know. It feels like 2025 ain't right. I feel like these new technologies developed in collaboration with Sony and AMD will be available at Sony's newest handheld. Now, this is the other part of it. This next gen, there is talks that it's going to be a two-tiered kind of thing, that they want to try and drop this probably at the same time, but the PlayStation 6, part of the reason they're so dedicated to trying to get this out as soon as possible is that it's going to be two different variations. There's going to be a console itself, a typical PlayStation.
See, I believe, right, in 2027, they're going to release the handheld. I think they'll announce it at the end of next year at the Tokyo Game Show. Not Tokyo Game, the Video Game Awards. They're going to announce the next PlayStation handheld. And that next PlayStation handheld, just like the Xbox ROG Ally is the blueprint for the next Xbox console, it's going to be the blueprint for the next PlayStation console. They're following the same pattern. They're just doing it in a different timeline. And I think that's exactly where they're going to go. They're going to release the handheld first, get people invested in the handheld, playing their PS4 and PS5 games, and it will be powerful enough to run apparently PS6 games as well. Or it's going to be a remote play device for the PS6. Either way, it's going to have some form of connectivity with the PS6. And I think that's exactly what they're doing right. They're watching what Xbox is doing, and they're going to do exactly the same thing. This device I can see coming in 2027. And then 2028, you'll have the PlayStation 6.
Pro style thing. There's going to be an actual device, probably around $700 to $800, which even that's expensive as hell, maybe $1,000. But the home console version, of course, will be the actual next-gen graphics. Whereas additionally, they want to have this handheld that roughly has the graphics of roughly a PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. It's going to be fully backwards compatible with all.
I mean, PS5 graphics. That's going to be $1,000 on its own minimum, maybe more.
Current gen games like mini PS5 and PS4 games.
Well, they're saying PS5, so they're not talking the Pro. They're talking base. So, yeah, I could see $1,000.
The goal is to basically make it where you can dock it, and it's going to be sort of like an Xbox Series.
The PSP 2 is regarded as the PS Vita. So you had the PSP, PS Vita, and they're referring to this one as the next version in the timeline, Susano.
S in that it's lower powered, but it's dockable. You can play it on a TV. Think of it as like a Nintendo Switch 2, right? And I almost feel like their push to get this out as soon as possible, it's not even about the PlayStation 6. It's about the portable. It's about them trying to find a new tap into the market, but they don't want to release this without the PlayStation 6. So essentially, we're getting a half-cocked, half-baked version of the PlayStation 6 specifically to accommodate this. Now, I want to show you this tweet by Colin Moriarty, and I want to talk about an old Colin Moriarty tweet. This guy, obviously, he has been a games journalist for decades. He has done so much writing, speculation, so much interesting analysis. I respect his opinion a lot, and I feel like I don't disagree with him that much, but he is very much in the mindset that this is just way, way, way too fast, right? We're going to enter a generation where 3 PlayStation home consoles are supported simultaneously. The math lines up. 7 years, that is totally normal, but this time around, it's way too fast. PS4 still has more active users than the Xbox Series X. Slow down. Now, there's an old...
That is because a lot of the Xbox users are still on Xbox One. The last count that they had that was of people still on Xbox Ones was around 40 million, I think. 45 million people were still using their Xbox One consoles and using cloud to basically play the series games that were available, first-party games, right? So there was no real reason for them to upgrade with the way Microsoft done it. There was no upgrade path for them. Now, Sony went the opposite way. They decided we're just going to make those games natively available on all platforms so you don't have to upgrade. They went from we don't believe in generations to we believe in generations. But a lot of the lack of Xbox Series console sales stemmed from that. You didn't need to upgrade. People are happy. The casuals are happy to play 30 FPS through the cloud. They are. It's really that simple. They don't need to go and buy a new console. They can just slap on Game Pass. I mean, that might not be true now, but at the time, it was true.
Quote from Colin Moriarty that I think about a lot, which was during the PlayStation 4 generation. When the first rumblings about the PS4 Pro were coming out, Colin Moriarty was one of the people that was kind of against it. Myself as well. Actually, I have old videos on my channel saying that I didn't like the idea of the PS4 Pro. And a lot of that came down to the fact that the messaging felt mixed. Just the idea of trying to release this mid-gen refresh didn't sound super smart. And Colin Moriarty, at the time, he had this great quote, clear the road. He basically said, instead of trying to muddle stuff with tons of tech talk or tiny iterations, just release banger games. Keep having new game, new game, new game, crazy new trailer, new exclusive marketing deal. Here's a third-party exclusive. Anything it takes to get people to be excited and buying stuff on your platform. Clear the road, I feel like is the best actual advice to Sony, because for the PS5 generation, they've blown it. Think about all the PS5 cancellations, studio closures, the amount of times they had something, they announced it, they revealed it, and then it just never comes out. Where's Fair Games? Where's Concord? Oh yeah, it's in the garbage can. Like, I'm not saying that they're releasing a ton of bad stuff. I'm still in the camp that I think there's more good Sony games than bad Sony games, but at this point, it seems like they're so dead set on this idea of infinite profitability that they're forgetting to actually make games themselves instead of just depending on every other developer on the planet making them good games.
It's almost like PlayStation is taking the Valve approach of, and really going back to the roots of PS1, where they were just a hardware manufacturer and said, right, everyone, make games for me. At that point, how are they any different to a PC? I don't know, man. One game a year just doesn't thing. And if they're going one game a year, I can see them releasing those games day and date before long on PC. Because they're going to want to maximize their sales. The shareholders are going to want it. Yeah, now it's too late. But at the time, they also didn't need to update. That's what I'm saying, Heatwave. They didn't need to. Sebi, what are you on about? In fact, you know what? Bullets, do your thing, man. You're new to it. Go for it. I don't have time for idiots like that.
I saw this poll by Pio. I like Pio a lot. Pio is an account that predominantly talks a lot about PlayStation stuff. He's a big fan of Nintendo as well, but he has, in my mind, most talked about how fun it is to be a PlayStation fan. And he did this poll where he said, look at this. How do you feel about next gen? When do you want to have the next generation of PlayStation, right? Crazy how majority of people do not want a PlayStation 6 in 2027. I think with inflation, dev time, and games, the PS6 should be 2028 holiday at the earliest. Let it cook. Now, every reply, look at this. Tech advancements have slowed down to the point where the generation needs to be extended to make them feel worth it. The PS6 came out nearly in, if the PS6 comes out in 2 years, it's barely going to feel like an upgrade from the PlayStation 5. This
but they don't have any other game that came out. That's all they do, AAA games. They don't believe in non-AAA games because they don't sell. And they're not wrong for that, Steve. It is It is what it is. You know, the gamers in turn are partly to blame for that because they only want to see the best of the best and they're only willing to buy the best of the best looking games. But it is what it is. They're only managing to get one game out a year. I've got a Pro Driftwood. Astrobot came out last year. Flappy Legs? That's not by Sony. That's by Devolver. Devolver Digital. Those ain't Sony games. They might be paid for. They might be paying them to money hat it, but it's not third party. We're talking money hat. Wolverine looks interesting. I want to see how it actually plays. I want to see like a non-scripted, just 5 minutes gameplay. Shut up, Woodpit.
Has only just started. The length we had for the PS4 games is still dropping in a way longer than the PS3 title's still dropping. Need more current gen-only games. Can I be honest? This kind of nails my two biggest points, my two biggest complaints with next gen as it currently exists, right? My first thing is straight up this, tech advancements. Can I be real? I play a lot of games, way more than the average person. I probably play, no exaggeration, 70 to 80 hours of games a week. Pretty much all I do is eat.
70 to 80 hours of games a week. Man.
Sleep, go to the gym, hang out with my friends, and play video games like...
Oh. Why is he lying? Why is he lying? All right, you know, he had me in the first half. By the way, exclamation win if you want to be in with the chance to win a Steam code. They are random, and I will do a giveaway after the video. Why he had me in the first half, man.
Be real, I play a lot of games, way more than the average person. I probably play, no exaggeration, 70 to 80 hours of games a week. Pretty much all I do is eat, sleep, go to the gym, hang out with my friends, and play video games.
That's it. I mean, in second half, he lost me, man. He lost me.
Games so I can barely keep my eyes open every single night. I'm dead serious. And my thing is that I feel like graphics have gotten so close to photorealism. Some games have bad performance. Obviously, we've had some very bad frame rate exclusives here and there, all the Unreal Engine 5 problems. But my point is the fact that as we get closer and closer to photorealism, I don't care about the next gen leap, right? I don't need 8K assets when 4K assets look great, right? Everything already looks and plays so good. What can next gen really offer that's going to make it feel different? The worlds already feel massive, right? Everything looks so big, loads so quick, is so seamless. What can you really do? Every previous console generation, going from PS1 to PS2, massive leap. PS2 to PS3, massive leap. Leap from PS3 to PS4, massive leap. 4 to 5, the tiniest jump so far. And at this point, I do think the PlayStation 6, it's difficult to even imagine a more visually beautiful experience. I'm curious to see what they can actually offer that's better than just, hey, more ray tracing, right? This is the other part, is that the other problem I have of my 2-point prom is that I want them to find a way to make next gen cheaper instead of just rushing it out, right? This is my thing right here. This is something Sony themselves has talked about. They have made more money in the PS5 generation than basically every other generation of all time. Look at that. $136 billion made. Oh my gosh, look at that. This is just so ridiculous. PS1 made $24 billion, PS2 $44 billion, PS3 $71 billion, PS4 $107 billion. We are already beyond the PS4 generation at half the length. My thing is that when it comes to next gen, I want, in a way, for them to copy Nintendo. Wait, let me explain. So, back in the day...
Copy Nintendo? Hey, tell us. You think he's go out more?
Nintendo talked a lot about their strategy was to make stuff as cheap and affordable as possible. So people would almost think about it as like a toy instead of this grand technological investment. That's why the Game Boy Advance, when this came out, there was better technology that existed. They could have made this thing have better graphics, better visuals, but instead they made it as cheap as possible to keep the price down. It's still got crazy RPGs. It's got amazing games. I could literally, if you gave me infinite batteries, I could be locked on a desert island with this bad boy and be occupied for years. I think what I want more than anything else with next gen is to figure out how they can lower that cost. If they drop
AI will reduce the time of development. It will reduce the time of everything. As long as it's utilized correctly, it will. At least that's for the games. For the consoles, that's a different thing.
The PlayStation 6 at 2027, and it's still that cutting edge check where they have to, oh man, production values are so dang expensive. If this thing costs $1,000, it's a failure. I'm going to say it. I consider this a $1,000 console. If that's what the PS6 itself ends up being, I will consider it a failure. I would rather them delay it until the technology is cheaper to manufacture so they can get it down to, I don't know, $600, $500, right? I want a cheaper next gen so that we can all enjoy it instead of it being this premium expensive market. I do.
And see, that's where he actually has a point, right? Because the pricing of the next generation console, sure, we want the graphics to be amazing and everything, but at the same time, you want it to be accessible. And like I said at the beginning of this stream, one of the key things that make consoles more desirable is their price point. If you're a PC gamer, you're going to go and spend $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, whatever it is. You get what you pay for, right? If you want the best of the best, you can get that. It's going to cost you more, but you know what you're getting into when you go into that market. With a console, it's fixed hardware. Everyone is on the same level, same playing field. And so the thing that makes it more attractive is the lower price point. It's not, I know recently you've got people comparing, still comparing the PS5 to a 4090. I don't know why. But they're still doing it. I've seen some people comparing the PS5 Pro to a 5090. It makes no sense. Like, why are they even bringing PC gaming into this? It makes no sense. That just blows my mind. But console gaming is designed to be cheaper by nature. When you start releasing your consoles near that 1,000 price, that's when you start entering into the console realm. And that's where I guess that's where all this PC malarkey came in. So, yes, consoles do need to be cheaper. But the problem is, as they become more and more a PC, because all the parts in the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are pretty much PCs. They've got SSDs, they've got an APU, they've got a CPU. It might be custom to a certain degree, but it's basically the same thing. If they wanted to get that working on a standard motherboard, they could do it, right? The software is what does everything else, but they could do it. And that's the key. Back in the days of, like, say, the Mega Drive or the SNES, or even the Sega Saturn, where you had like a Jaguar CPU. These were custom built CPUs, custom built everything that was designed for those consoles. So they weren't really PCs. But as gaming hardware has evolved, they've taken the form, and especially with like the original Xbox, that was pretty, they just had a CPU. I remember people cutting the top of the, what was it? The 360, and sticking that Twin Towers heatsink on it, which had fans on either side. It was massive, just to keep it cooler so it could run faster. Because it was all built off the same tech. And they've just evolved into PCs anyway. But they need to keep that price down in order to make it attractive to the consumer base.
Really think that the reason the PSVR 2 failed so bad, who's even talking about PSVR 2? I hope the lesson that Sony learned, that thing was as expensive as the console. If you want the PSVR 2 at launch, no games, no bells and whistles, just it. You'd have to buy the PS5 for $500, the headset for $500. You're $1,000 in the hole before you've even played a single game. My thing is that these high prices are what are sinking PlayStation more than anything else. It's sinking Xbox way more so, but Sony, you guys have some of the good games, but at this point, there are a lot of people that are going to start just getting pushed out of the market, playing only retro games or emulators or stuff that just doesn't cost you, months and months of rent for one freaking console, right? Look at the reactions over on the Gaming Leaks and Rumors subreddit. This is everybody being like,
the PS5 runs on Linux anyway. The operating system is Linux. It's just a modified version of Linux. But it is Linux. Like the PS3, when it first came out, it literally had Linux built into it. They released it as a personal computer so they could avoid the tax. And then people started finding ways to hack the PS3 through Linux. So they released an update to remove Linux off there. They did it. The tax rebate wasn't enough for them to get their machine hacked.
2027 release. Get ready for Intergalactic, God of War Egypt, and Venom to all be PS6 with a top it off. Yeah, look at that. Okay, I trust you. Everybody's like, bro, this stuff's going to be cross-generation. We've gone almost an entire PS5 generation, and we're still seeing a significant number of devs targeting the PlayStation 4. Maybe with the launch of the PS6, they might stop making PS4 games. With the rumored portable PS4...
See, this is the thing. If they're still targeting the PS4, especially if there's like, and if it's just like one SKU and they're just improving upon that and not making totally different versions of the game, that means that no matter how powerful your machine is, whether it's the Xbox Series X or the PS5 Pro, it's still going to be restricted by the lowest denominator of what it can do, which is the PS4 and the Xbox One. So you could have the best thing out there, but if it's coming out and it has to work on it, unless they make specific versions of the game for that, that's not part of the same code base, which will be way more costly because that's basically making the game again for another platform rather than making one and then making that code work across all of them through compatibility. That's the problem with making games work on lower spec.
Then devs are going to want to support it even more. This is my thing. Look at this. Can't wait to play the PS5 remasters. Oh my gosh. They'll remaster Concord. Don't worry, they'll remaster the remakes for more remasters. I want the best for PlayStation. I've put so many thousands of hours into my PlayStation consoles. I like PlayStation. I very much grew up with PlayStation. But if this release date is real, I can easily say this is the least hype I've ever been for next gen by far. I am the person. I was pounding the gong, excited for the Xbox Series X, excited for the PS5, and now here we are 5 years into it. It's been lackluster to say the least. If next gen is going to be, in my opinion, more expensive and even less exciting than this, yeah, I agree with that tweet that said next gen sales are going to be cataclysmic at launch. But what do you guys think? Are you excited about a next gen? How do you feel about this?
It is a thing, man. It is a thing. It wasn't a bad video. It wasn't a bad video. It was not a bad video. It's funny how Xbox players are excited about the next Xbox, while PS players are crying, saying the PS5 has no games. I mean, it's a thing, Rachie. It's a thing. So Sony said that their next console is supposed to be considerably weaker than the specs, I should say, the leaked specs show that it's going to be considerably weaker than the next Xbox. So it's going to be interesting to see how it is. All right, so we're going to do the giveaway. And we have Ghosty as the winner. And I'm going to do a second one as well. So we give another one away in this list. Calandros. Okay, so that's Bullets, Ghosty, and Calandros. I will contact you guys through Discord later and give you your codes. All right, we'll do some more giveaways in the next stream. Congrats to you, Free. By the time the new consoles come out, we could be in war. I mean, there is a big possibility that that could happen, right? Especially with the way everything is being, everything is going at the moment. Ooh, that's dirty. Dirty Microsoft. No, no, Microsoft, this is dirty. Dirty Microsoft. You should not do this. Bad Microsoft. Oh, man. The Reg Ally used to come with 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, and I believe the Logitech G Cloud did too. It did. You only get 3 months of premium with the egg. So, man, in the US where you're paying $1,000 for it, here in the UK you're paying $799. Hey, look, it sounds better than $800, and it is $799. That's pretty lame, man. They're not even giving you Ultimate to get the true experience. They're giving you premium. They're giving you that shoddy crap. You don't even get COD on that bundle. That's rough. That's bad, man. Wait. Oh, that's rough, man. That is crazy. Man, D-Batch is still going on as well. D-Batch is still continuing. Oh, but folks, I think that's everything I wanted to talk about today. Actually, went longer than I was planning. But yeah, I'm gonna put up a poll on my YouTube channel regarding what I'm, what we're gonna do with because I want to stream some more games and stuff like that outside of the news channels. So whether it's going to be on Twitch or YouTube, you guys can chime in on that. It's going to be mainly on the weekends. So yeah, please do take part in that poll when you see it. It's going to go up tonight. So if you check in the community section tomorrow, if you are subbed, and if you're not subbed to the channel, now's a really good time to hit that sub button. It is free, as well as like the stream. I'd appreciate it. And then yeah, we'll get to more games where I fail miserably and you guys can laugh at just how pitiful I am when I'm playing them. All right, folks, that's it. Ghosty, Calandros, and Bullets, I will reach out to you after the stream and give you your codes. Good luck on whatever you do win. And I will see you all in the next video or the next stream. Right, folks, peace out. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight. It's been absolutely amazing. Really grateful for all the support you guys show, for the turnout. And I'll see you next time. Have a good night, folks. You might be right, Driftwood. You might be right. I think we're going to see a lot less AAA, and we're going to see a lot more AA. But we'll see. Right, I'm out.